one of my next door neighbors, and he wouldn't care. Ron Austin, he got a boat. He got a boat from a buddy of his that had a 165 horse motor on it. And he was sick and tired of riding up and down the river in a 40 or 60 horse.
Yeah, it took us forever to get somewhere.
Like we went from a 10 to a 20 to a 60 on ours. Padley and me did. And so he was going up and down that river like you wouldn't believe. And Ron was one that dipped snuff all the time, and all his life. And he'd put that in there, and then he'd spit that stuff out and do that stuff. So he got a wad of chewing tobacco that for some reason Ron did. He just thought he wanted one, and so he bit off a chunk and everything else. And Dick Grogan was in the boat with him because he got rid of his boat on this trip. And he was up there in that very front seat where on a bass boat, the seat is higher up on the front boat, the front part. And then you got a little belt that holds you in up there. And Dick was up there and riding along, and he saw Ron do that, and so he said, well, he said, I used to chew all the time, and he said, let me have that. And he just took a chunk off of that thing, and he started chewing that tobacco and everything else, and they were just fishing, trolling, and doing everything else like that. And then I can't remember, it wasn't either a really bad day or whatever it was or anything. We decided to all go in at one time. And he said, Ron said, you want to get back here with me? And he said, no. He said, I'll just stay up here and put the belt on. And Ron took off in this 165 horse boat. And I mean to tell you, he was going down that river back to where we pull the boats out on the dock. The boat ramp, and he was hitting them waves and from the other things like that, and the boy about 3/4 way down there
bouncing.
Old Dick Grogan went, and he had a butt of a wave, and I mean it went right down his throat, and he swallowed that tobacco and everything else, and Ron went on to the dock, and they pulled in and everything else, and by the time our boat got there with Padley, and I don't know if you were in at that time.
I don't think I was on this trip.
Okay.
I just remember you telling the story.
And Bob and me had ours, and we only had like a 20 horse or something, and we got in there late, and Bob jumped out because he had to go to the restroom. That they had a big restroom up there, and he come back and he said, "Don't go in there now." Said some fool's in there throwing up, and we got out and walked up there, and there was our boat. The buddy of ours was the one that was come walking out, and he was just as white as a sheet. He still just, but when he was just moaning and groaning and everything else,
sick as a dog.
Then the story came about at dinner time that he'd swallowed that water chewing tobacco, and Padley told him, he said, I told him, he said, some fool's in there throwing up. He said he'd been drinking too much, but it was you throwing up after you'd swallowed the tobacco. So that's the way it was, so there was quite a few.
I mean, if you're not used to it, it can make you kind of dizzy and nauseated anyway. Then you swallow it. Ooh, geez.